Welcome to U.S. News Source Channel. Operation HIMARS was carried out on Russian military positions. Russian army continues to suffer heavy losses in the mutual attacks on the fronts. Explosions were reported from key areas one after the other. Location of the Russian soldiers has been revealed. According to breaking news, Ukrainian armed forces hit a Russian military point with HIMARS missile systems. It was reported that a Russian military point in the Alchevsk region was hit and neutralized with these missile systems. It was stated that as a result of the accurate move of the Ukrainian army, the area hit by the rockets was severely damaged. It is claimed that these missiles are the M30 and M31 missiles with the longest range. Moreover, it is stated that this area, which was hit, was a hiding place for Russian soldiers and they had to flee from this area. Accurate use of these missile systems from the United States by the Ukrainian army also causes the destruction of many Russian military points and equipment as a result of a powerful explosion. This situation provides a great advantage for Kyiv. On the Moscow side, it causes the losses to continue to increase. At the same time, the accurate execution of many moves by the Ukrainian armed forces reveals the adequacy of their military capabilities. Ukrainian army, whose experience has increased since the beginning of the war and has become stronger with every military support, does not leave a chance to the Russian soldiers. Moreover, they are faced with soldiers who are poorly trained and most of them newly mobilized. This situation greatly reduces the chances of Moscow being successful in ground operations. Because of such reasons, the losses reach even more serious dimensions. This time, the Ukrainian armed forces destroyed 6 tanks, 5 armored combat vehicles, 7 different vehicles and 2 artillery systems of the Russian forces. Moreover, as a result of these correct moves and many wrong strategies by Russia, more than 500 Russian soldiers were neutralized in one day. In this period of 9 months, Moscow's troop loss has exceeded 91,000. At this rate, there will be no Russian soldiers left to fight on the fronts. Moreover, the Russian military points destroyed by the Ukrainian army are not limited to these. During the day, many Russian military points were hit by Ukrainian planes. Airstrikes were carried out against more than 20 Russian military points. As a result of these moves, many points were seriously damaged. It was reported that an Orlan-10 drone and Russian Su-25 attack jet were also neutralized as a result of a precise attack. Everything is being done to prevent Russian military equipment from being placed both in the air and on the ground. In this direction, the Ukrainian rocket and artillery units struck 2 command centers of the Russian troops and an ammunition storage point. Explosions resounded from these military posts one after the other. Russian ammunition and important points were also engulfed in flames. Russia, which has suffered serious losses, still continues its offensive efforts on the fronts. This time around, more than 25 airstrikes and around 35 multiple rocket launches were reported against several Ukrainian positions. In these attacks, infrastructures in critical areas were also targeted. Especially targeting Ukraine's energy, Moscow may want various economic problems in Kyiv, as in its own country. Because, as it is known, in a war that has been going on for more than 9 months, the economies of the countries also affect the course of the war. Adequacy of the defense industry and available military resources to continue the attacks can determine the course of the war. This suggests that the moves made may be aimed at influencing the economy. However, although such attacks on Ukrainian soil affect Kyiv, it also affects Moscow. Because, as a result of such attacks, various sanctions against Moscow are increased, while military support and important aid to Kyiv are both increased and accelerated. Russia is very angry at this situation. Moreover, it is known that Moscow now has limited military resources. It is known that Russia, which tries to concentrate on airstrikes unless it can achieve success on land, hopes for help from other countries unless the remaining weapons are sufficient. However, it is known that it has supplied unmanned aerial vehicles from Iran many times, which was insufficient because they were not produced against the geographical feature of Ukraine, as it did not receive as much support as it expected. However, Russia's solution in this regard is also inexhaustible. Because these aircraft cannot be used efficiently due to seasonal conditions. A senior official from the Ukrainian armed forces made critical statements on this issue and reported that Russia has started to use these Iranian-made unmanned aerial vehicles less. According to the statements, these unmanned aerial vehicles have to be used less because they are made with materials that are sensitive to weather conditions. As it is known, these unmanned aerial vehicles were actually produced for geographical structures in the Middle East countries. Iran's purpose in producing these drones was never Ukraine. For these reasons, it is very difficult to adapt to the geographical structure of Ukraine. This causes these aircraft to be destroyed much more easily by the Ukrainian armed forces. Moreover, as long as the air defense systems for the Ukrainian army continue to arrive, it is estimated that close to 80% of such air targets will be neutralized. In fact, if enough and consistently strong air defense systems are provided to Ukraine, Russian military equipment will not be allowed in the Ukrainian skies. At the same time, no ammunition will be allowed to reach critical Ukrainian points in airborne attacks. In order to ensure this situation, it is necessary to increase and accelerate the support from countries. Otherwise, if the course of the war goes well for Russia, it will go badly for many countries, especially Ukraine. Because if Moscow achieves what it wants on Ukrainian soil, it may be inevitable that it cannot be stopped and the scope of the war will expand. Moreover, it is known that many NATO countries have taken various measures against this possibility. Especially in border countries such as Poland, tensions are increasing for these reasons. However, it does not seem possible at the moment that Moscow may also want to expand the scope of the war. Because he knows that he will be alone in such a situation and that many countries will not support Moscow due to fears such as Western sanctions. For this, he mostly focuses on his attacks on the fronts. At the same time, Moscow, which has suffered serious losses both on land and in the air, does not want to suffer losses at sea. For this purpose, it deploys many of its ships in the Black Sea, which borders Ukraine. According to the statements, 21 warships of Russia are deployed on the Black Sea. Moreover, it was announced that 4 of these ships carried 24 caliber cruise missiles. Russia, which is thought to be afraid of the moves of the Ukrainian army in recent days, has been reported to have moved all cruise missile-laden ships on this sea to Mediterranean waters. Now, the fact that he brings these missile-laden ships to this sea increases the tension. Because the purpose of this move may be to start a missile attack on the southern lands again. However, all efforts will be made to prevent this situation. At the same time, it was reported that Russia kept 9 ships in Mediterranean waters, and 5 of these ships were loaded with caliber cruise missiles. According to the statements, these ships carry a total of 76 missiles. Fact that Russia has about 100 missiles that it can use against Ukrainian territory may cause concern in the country. This time, however, the Ukrainian armed forces are well prepared. Because, thanks to various defense systems and many military equipment, especially in recent weeks, many attacks can now be prevented. This will cause a bigger problem in Moscow, which has a limited number of missiles. One of the reasons for this is that even one of these cruise missiles causes a very large cost. If more wasted ammunition is used, Moscow's economy will succumb to this war. Now, any move can determine the fate of countries in war. In the following processes, the fate of both countries will be shaped depending on both other countries and their own decisions. In these days when there is no margin of error for both sides, the violence of the war has started to increase like never before. We'll see what happens in the next few days. We have reached the end of another video. You can support us by liking the video. You can easily follow new videos by subscribing. I wish you all a war-free day. See you.